Hello, folks. Coming to you live from Saratoga Springs, New York, in beautiful upstate New York on a gorgeous Tuesday morning. Blue sky, the snow has melted, spring equinox was yesterday. Perfect time to talk about a sign-making machine that does hundreds of things, hundreds of amazing things. And thank you, Michael Gentile, for being with me here today.
Thank you, Skip.
All right. We have a picture of the whole Grant Graphics crew, the all-star staff that we love, that helps take care of you folks out there in the world too, as we are a master distributor, dealer for Roland printer cutters, along with many other really excellent manufacturers. And we specialize in the print cut industry, digital printing, digital cutting, the combination of the two. And I've been doing this about 40 years now, since the first vinyl cutter back in the day that started out just basically cutting, vinyl letters and vinyl shapes. And today we are going to be working on the different applications here of the Roland VG2. This is a Roland inkjet printer cutter that is just our favorite machine. It's a 54-inch machine using TR2 inks, the TrueVIS inks that come in 50 milliliter pouches and so forth. And I'm not going to get into all the gritty details here, because what's more exciting is why. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? Why are you there? Learning about printers, cutters, and all the opportunities, all the applications, all the materials. There's just hundreds of different types of materials, of vinyls and banners and films and polyester and heat transfer materials for apparel and garment that we'll get into here in a minute. But Mike is going to be over here on the laptop driving the machine. We can hit go again and finish up printing here just as we get going. Basically an inkjet printer like this is using a solvent-based ink that adheres right to the vinyl with a chemical bond. An amazing process of how the printheads lay the ink down. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. We have light cyan and light magenta here to get really soft pastels and face tones and really incredible photographic work. The machine is also configured today with light black, so really excellent on those neutral grays and things like that for either grayscale images or different images that have neutral gray tones in them. We also have orange ink in here. That's a highlight of the TR2 inks with Roland. They've got the ability to configure a machine with orange ink and green ink and white ink and so forth. But the orange ink in particular really helps pop the color and makes the colors really, really rich and vibrant. I'm going to, pardon me for bouncing around with samples and things like that. Here we've got a beautiful sign with some teal and some purples and some orange here, printed on vinyl off the TR2 ink with the Roland, and we are just tremendously thrilled with the insane color that comes off this machine. I mean, not only is it unbelievably brilliant, we'll come back to this one some more, it's almost fluorescent in a way. And the way it lays the ink down, just spraying it beautifully, the material lays flat, the vacuum system, again, this is many generations. We've been selling Roland printer cutters, I have, for 22 years. And we've come a long way in 22 years as far as the way it handles the material, the way it lays flat, the way it prints and cuts and handles and rolls up, and basically we're able to produce an entire roll of material pretty much automated now, not worrying about the stress of the print heads clogging or the print cut registrations and things like that. So we've got the cutter here just cutting out the contour cut on the Y. And at one point, we're going to share the screen, and Michael's going to dive into VersaWorks here, the software that drives the printer, as well as Illustrator and some of the amazing things that allow us to do, like the color management and the color matching of the vector shapes. I mean, we can go into Illustrator and create a pattern or a shape and match colors perfectly using a Roland color system. Just an incredible way to, again, match color for your customers. The color management and controls like that are important. But basically, I'm going to go back to the simple level here. This is a very simple inkjet printer, eco-solvent, doesn't smell, it's friendly, it's here in an office environment, 110 volt, plugs right into the wall, and we just have a simple laptop running VersaWorks, which takes the design file an EPS or a JPEG or whatever it may be from Photoshop or Illustrator or SignLab or FlexiSign or wherever it comes from, and basically allows you to just send the job to the printer where then it'll print out. Here's a little sign, what, when, where, how. You know, this is basically done in Illustrator, a little EPS file, and then the contour cut is actually a cut contour swatch that we load in into Illustrator, and that's how the machine knows what to print and what to cut. So what's cool about a printer cutter is it cuts out what it prints. And, you know, we can go on with that. But before I jump into some of that, as this is going, I want to come back to this what, where, how, why thing. Why do we do this? Why is this amazing? Why? And you need to ask yourself that, and I ask all of you to ask that about your business, about your personal relationship with the business, is your role as a designer, a graphic designer, a print producer, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're in manufacturing, and you're tasked with trying to use digital printing and cutting as far as a manufacturing process. Maybe you're working for a school or a university in a makerspace and you're teaching young students about graphic arts and visual communications and the advancements in this technology, which are unbelievable. I mean, years ago, you guys, we started with just cut vinyl lettering. I could just grab a board here and start just cut vinyl. It was just basically a strip of vinyl and you cut it. I have a sample here, as basic as it gets, DOT lettering. You know, just you're basically putting vinyl into the machine, cutting out the letters, weeding away what you don't want, and you put a transfer tape over it, which, if the camera can't pick up on it, is how you would transfer it onto the truck. Basic vinyl lettering has been around for many, many years. As it's gotten better, we've been able to do other materials like cut vinyl and then dusted crystal for glass or etched look, or maybe polyesters and metals and foils and aluminum materials that are, again, pressure sensitive, printed and cut. Or, of course, we can do full color printing like the print and cut here. That's kind of hard to see on the camera. But there's a lot of capabilities here with being able to cut out what you print. You know, whether it's small labels or decals or large decals. This was actually a 4-foot by 5-foot wall graphic. And it goes on because we used to, at one point, use red vinyl, blue vinyl, yellow, and some of you in the craft market with a Cricut or other little desktop plotters still have to use different colored vinyl. The key about a printer cutter, like shown here, is that we can do, of course, any color. So we're not limited to the colors of vinyl. We can go to our swatch book and pick out any color, purple or red or magenta or gray or what have you, and go ahead and print it. Not only print it, but also print it in registration. So when you come to transferring a decal like this, all the colors are in the proper place. And of course, we can do gradations and small text and all kinds of other things when we get into the printing and cutting. Some people like to go more towards the label world, and they'll actually produce food labels or product labels or prototyping or marketing pieces. And again, with any beautiful cut, and when you get going on this, you gotta look, the color is amazing, the quality, the 6-point text, those soft gradations, the pastels. You know, it's unbelievable the capability of the quality of the printing and cutting that's going on here. And, you know, it just gets into endless applications when we're talking about lettering or logos or stripes and so forth. And here we just have a simple contour cut with some colorful lettering, but, you know, it's as easy as can be. I'll strip one away here in a minute. Now, again, we're having a live virtual demo. You can't really see what's going on here, but maybe I can grab something from a little bit earlier and say, okay, great. You know, we're just printing and cutting a pressure sensitive sticker or something like that. That's print and cut, beautiful color, beautiful quality, black is dense, crisp printing, beautiful contour cut in any particular shape, you know, ready to go, ready to stick at a fraction. And again, it's a chemical bond. It's a solvent-based printing where the ink is actually embedded into the PVC of the vinyl material. It's a waterproof, durable, fade-resistant. I mean, my gosh, you guys, whew, it's amazing the capabilities. They can freeze them and heat them and so forth. And sometimes we take them and we will laminate them. Sometimes we'll take the vinyl and we'll laminate them with a laminate. This is a 5 mil textured embossed. We can take the print out of the machine, laminate it, put it back in, and cut it for a bomb-proof, durable decal that's laminated. And when you do that, that gets you into all kinds of industrial labeling, industrial graphics for, you know, dumpsters or hot water pipes or asset tags, or these are for airplane things. These are subsurface, bomb-proof, durable decal that's actually printed vinyl, laminated, then cut. So it's print, lam, cut workflow. What we got going here is a print cut workflow where we're just printing and cutting in one swoop to kind of be done with it. Different opportunities. Sometimes people will take a print, and you'll see the rolling crop marks on it. If you can down here, there's little white round dots. This is how the machine knows that if you take the material out of the printer to laminate it and put it back in, there's a little optical sensor that will read those crop marks and cut the graphics out to really tight precision. That tight precision allows you to do things like control panels and speed dials and tight engineering type required graphic elements that are just unbelievably capable of doing products that are waterproof, durable, colorful, long lasting. You know, this is a breakthrough. Again, this has been going on for quite a few years. So over time, the machines have gotten so much better. The print heads, the way it lays down the ink, the way it handles the material, the way the ink dries and stays colorful and lasts outside. I mean, my gosh. And then the software with the software RIP and the design applications, the RIP applications, and the ease of just saying, look, I want 200 decals or 12 signs, or I want a print of the all-star staff here to come out of the machine, is just so quick and easy. And even the file formats, you guys, we're carrying around our phones, you know, they're loaded with incredible photographs and other things, and our phones are input devices. It's never been easier to just take a beautiful, high-quality picture off of our phone and reproduce it, not only on vinyl, but gosh, we could go into wall graphics and things. I'll get into that later, but boy, it's just unbelievable the things that you could go on. Michael, what do you got going over there? We're cutting this one here. This is almost done. And what do we have, 35 grams of force or something? We don't have to go very deep.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just cutting this out, and we can pause it, stop it. And this can run continuously through the night. A lot of times people will send jobs, queue them up, 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4, and the take-up reel here will actually roll the material up in proper tension and roll it up onto the tube. It won't drift, you know, the old days of worrying about that and the printer jamming or whatever. It's just amazingly seamless now how through the years the engineering has come together with the pinch rollers that have different pressure that can even raise themselves up to get out of the way if you're printing and cutting on a image that uses a whole lot of ink, the vacuum to hold it down, the media hold down clamps holding the edges and keeping it, the heat distribution now. I mean, part of the magic here is the heated platen that we're printing on. It opens up, softens the pores of the material and allows the ink to come on in and dry and settle in there a little bit. You know, this whole combination of events is the ink, the printer laying it down, and heat is actually evaporating the solvents out of the ink. This is dry to the touch already. This is, you know, there's no more white gloves and worrying about it not being dry. You know, the machine on the VG2, this is Roland's most popular model, and we have sold hundreds and hundreds of these things. In fact, I should pause right there and just say, and we have them in stock. We just bought a whole bunch for the spring season. We have brand new ones, warehouse in stock, ready to ship. And we have demo units available too that have already been inked up and dialed in really well that we've been using to make samples and other things for the spring season. So this is the busiest time for the sign industry and also vehicle graphics and window graphics and anything outdoors, right? At least for us in the Northeast United States here. Although we do sell in a broad area where not everybody's covered in snow, but when the snow melts, you know, we get particularly happy around here that the sun is out and things have warmed up. So anyway, Michael, we're about to finish this last little run here. Can you pause it just for a second, and I'll just grab one of these things. See, so again,
Comment on laminated versus unlaminated.
Oh, laminated versus unlaminated. Well, that's a good question. As I peeled this off, it's thin and it's warm and it's flimsy and it can be 2 mils thin or it could be 4 mils thin. We love laminated graphics because it's just got so much more body to it. When you when you laminate the vinyl, then cut it, there's much more body. It moves from a 4 mil product maybe to a 9 mil product. It's subsurface, it's more rigid, it's easier to handle, and more importantly, it's more easy for your customer to peel and stick and handle as well. I love laminating the graphic because you can add a gloss finish to it or a matte finish or a luster, or in this case, a textured. So, and there's lots of different finishes on laminated graphics. Yeah. So we have a question coming in. How long will a decal last outside not being laminated versus one that is laminated? Good question. Laminates can add 2 years, maybe 3 or 4 years to the life of a vinyl graphic. So when you see the vinyl here, you know, we may say, okay, that could last outside 3 years, 4 years, 5 years or something. Laminate it, you're going to get a lot more length to that, basically for 2 reasons. The UV protection, when you laminate a graphic, you're putting a UV blocking barrier between the sun and it. You're also protecting the graphic from sand and salt and in abrasion and other wear and tear that it may find. The cost that you're adding is, geez, maybe 25 cents or 30 cents a square foot. That's it. The cost of laminate, it's just basically a clear vinyl going down onto the board. Does not add much to the cost, but it adds a lot to the value. A lot of, you know, even if it was 20 cents or 30 cents for square foot for laminate, people will charge an extra $2 or $3 just for a laminated graphic. And then it's easier to work with, more durable. And the other thing about laminate, now that we're talking about it, is that it deepens the color. When you laminate a graphic, it brings the color and the richness out. It gives it depth. You know, and matte is a little bit different. Matte laminate will take the glare down. It'll knock the glare down. So when we're making some signs or banners or something like that, when we put a low glare laminate, now it's good for menus and signs and things that have hot lighting and something like that, where we can actually change the finish. So that's important. You know, you have gloss, you have matte, you have luster, you have textured, but then you think about the purpose. So laminating is a simple process. I think I have a little picture of one here. A laminator basically is a pretty boring looking tool, but it's basically a roller that you're loading a roll of clear material in, and you just kind of feed your vinyl in, and it'll coat it for you, laminate it, you trim it, sheet cut it, then put it back in the cutter and cut it out. So it's a print, lam, cut workflow. And sometimes, you know, people will do this with the roll in here, and they'll do the print cut for bumper stickers. Some things don't need to be laminated. Bumper stickers, food things, if you're just kind of doing some promotional quick labels or something like that on boxes or whatever, it does not need the lamination because it can be peel and stick. There's also another way. Again, we sell many different types of materials. We have a really fond book that we love called The Media Selector from Grant Graphics. And this is a little selector book of our 65 most favorite materials from all of our really top-notch vendors. So we seek out really great materials that perform well. Not the cheapest ones in the world, but the ones that we think perform super well on equipment like this. And in here, there's some thicker vinyls. We have 6 mil vinyl that has more body to it. So for those of you that want to just peel and stick bumper stickers or product labels or identification things, you can actually go to a 6 mil vinyl that adds more body without laminating. Furthermore, we get into a situation with floor graphics, certainly in this COVID age, that they have textured vinyl laminates, or I'm sorry, textured vinyl that we just basically print and cut and put onto the floor, and it's good. It's got the tread resistance and the certifications for floor graphics for short-term situations where you're trying to decorate floors. That kind of got me into like windows, walls, floors, ceilings. You know, I'm still in the label section here, but man, I could go on forever about the 100 ways because it goes on. Lettering, labels, decals, logos, and then you get into signs and banners, you get into backlits, you get into outdoor signage, parking permits, variable data. I mean, this goes on and on, folks. There's no way a virtual demo at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning is going to cover all this. So, you know, as time goes on, give us a call here at Grant Graphics, and we can certainly teach you about how you do variable data. How do you do an entire school or university or office building with nameplates and numbering and maps? It's unbelievable what's possible with the artwork and something as simple as variable data. Michael's been with me for years and has been a key technical teammate and has helped many of you, I am sure, with whether it's solvent-based inkjet printing or UV printing and cutting or lasers or what have you. And my whole staff, shown here in the picture here, you know, many of the technicians are very, very good at teaching and training you advanced concepts like this. And that's why you'd want to work with a local dealer, a regional, friendly, family-oriented dealer like ourselves that can teach you about not only the machines and how they work and how to run them, how to operate them, but how to take care of them, how to clean them, how to take care of the print heads and the knives and the calibrations and dial them in and keep them working super, super fresh. You know, it's a big job taking care of you know, thousands of machines out there in the world that are doing this because this technology has become quite so popular, but it's important to have just a great staff to work with to be able to do that. So some of this knowledge deals with the machines or the ink or the way you use it or the way you maintain it. And also, of course, our service department and the way we fix them if there's a problem mechanically or with the chassis or the belts or whether it's with the print head and the ink delivery system. You know, they are machines and we have customers that will use them 20 hours a day or more. And we have customers that have dozens of these machines that we call a little farm. In this case, a VG2 farm of Roland printer cutters that we love, because they're very, very versatile machines. Again, having equipment that can take an idea and make a final product is unbelievable. There's no screen printing. It's not like embroidery with stitching. I mean, I could take one application, and I will. It'll be heat transfer. Actually, my quarter zip here is done on a heat transfer material. And it's basically, our favorite is Chemica from France, a manufacturer of a printable white heat transfer material, hot mark print, and we love this stuff. You print it on the machine, you print it, you cut it, and transfer it at a low temperature. So these materials, what's changed is now it's a lower temperature. We can come down as low as 245. You know, 285, or we can even come down to 245 for a beautiful transfer on different materials. And what that means is that we can transfer onto all different types of materials like nylon or leather or upholstery or all kinds of cork, crazy stuff that, you know, people are just trying to wrap their head around, but it's basically a print cut heat transfer. When you do that, you get a full color graphic coming through, or you could switch it and go to one of their specialty materials. This is a little t-shirt that's kind of got it all on. It's crazy. There's bling and shiny and speckly and gold and silver and flock and all different types of colors of stuff that are basically cut on a plotter or print and cut on a printer cutter, giving you, a durable, incredible apparel decoration. This is just one industry, like one of the 100 ways. I mean, there's a board. Michael, can you hand me the text, the one to the left, the heat transfer one? You know, it's like, this is just one of the ways in the sales kits here that, again, I'm a big fan of sales kits, trying to show people what you can do. You can do heat transfer onto dark garments with this material, or even light colored garments, and it can be thin and stretchy and wonderful and easy to work with, and you can transfer onto all kinds of funky materials. So I've got all kinds of samples around here, and of course I'm losing them, but you know what, why not? Let's go into, like, what about neon? Transferring right onto in this case, a fluorescent fabric, cotton, or here's a burlap bag. Like, who would ever think about transferring onto burlap? Well, you can't normally print on that, but you know what? Clever transfers do cool things. Again, light colored, dark, light colored images or dark. So heat transfer, what's interesting, the technology here has gotten better and better with the ink. We have a question here, how long will the transfers last with multiple washings? And that's a great answer. You know, we certainly can say these quarter zips have probably been washed, you know, 50 times. Some people do 100 times. Whatever it may be, it does have a relationship to the quality of the garment and the type of graphic that it is. But they're intended to be washable and durable and professional level. And again, not all graphics can be screen printed or stitched with embroidery or direct to garment, you know, is limiting in some of its areas. And heat transfer is just a wildly popular strategy for decorating apparel. Not only that, but you know, textiles as well. It doesn't have to be a shirt. I mean, here's a nylon umbrella, and you know, whatever. It's like, who would have thought to put the different heat transfer materials onto nylon for decorating an umbrella with the different colors or what have you. Just be open for that there's lots of different situations of heat transfer as just one of the many applications for making money. And the idea here, a lot of our customers that have Roland printers are they do lots of different things. They make signs one minute, they're labeling a truck the next, they're wrapping a trailer the next, they're doing snowmobile graphics the next, they're doing stuff for the hockey team, and they're doing some banners or whatever it may be, and they do lots of different things. The idea is that if you had somebody's logo up on the screen, let me pull one up here for you. You know, if you have somebody's logo, Saratoga Youth Hockey, you know, hockey is dear to my heart. Once you have their logo up on the screen, the idea to make some labels and then a sign and then a banner and then some heat transfer is nothing more than swapping out the roll of material in the machine. It's that easy. It's basically, we could take this vinyl out, making labels or decals or signs 1 minute, and then the next minute we could put heat transfer in here and print and cut it and be transferring this in no time. And the idea is that you build out your order and you build out the work and the profitability of what's going on here. I mean, the idea, you guys, behind all of this is the dynamic sales cycle. This is a seminar series that we teach. We teach people how to get the work and do the work. You know, of years in the industry, the idea is everybody said, oh, buy a printer, buy the vinyl, buy, you know, go online, buy a printer, and you get a box. It's like, no, there's a whole business cycle here that is wildly profitable, wildly amazing to be able to work with based on the 100 ways or more of doing business. You have to market yourself, sell, specify, estimate, come up with the job price for all of this. You got to design it, you got to proof it, and then print it, laminate it, cut it, mount it, finish it, install it, and make a happy customer. And the idea about this sales cycle is each job you do this, and you're trying to do it multiple times each day, and the more efficient you can get the work, and the more productive you can be getting it done without worrying about it, without making mistakes, with having the colors be correct and the quality be excellent, and the process to no bubbles, no wrinkles, you know, things are cut perfectly. When you make lots of signs these days, you know, and you hold them up and say, I just made a bunch of signs and they're all cut perfectly and they all have a cornered edge and there's no bubbles and no wrinkles and they have a beautiful finish with the textured lam and the colors jump out and bite you, and it's waterproof and durable and freezable and heatable and whatever, and you're doing it at such a low cost of manufacturing and such a high yield of profitability. This is why this do-it-yourself mentality of printing and cutting and manufacturing graphic products like this is just wildly popular. And during COVID, we all know many people came in-house, literally, in their house, in their dining room or their basement or the bedroom, and they started a side gig doing cut vinyl lettering or something like that. And the idea is they didn't realize they were doing an advanced dynamic sales cycle, that they were telling their club or their school or their university about, you know, what can be done here. So I won't go on and on and on about that, but again, there's a lot of different opportunities that exist here. And yeah, labels, decal signs, banners, those are all the general ones. You know, heat transfer was another one. We get into some other stuff, you guys. I'm just going to come on over here for a second. And, you know, here's wall covering. So you're like, really, wall covering? Yeah, this stuff is all printed on a Roland, beautiful, different textured materials, different materials. This is conventional real wall covering that you use wallpaper paste and you put it on and you overlap it. And remember, the software can seam it up. At At one point, you guys, we're going to jump over to the software. I don't know if you guys are wanting or able to do that, but we can show a little bit of this. And the idea, some of the wall coverings are like a fabric-based material, that low glare, fabric-based wall covering. I love this stuff. It looks professional. There's a fabric tone to it. It's a low glare, but most of all, it peels and sticks like you wouldn't believe on the wall. I could just lay this onto the wall and float it down, no bubbles or no wrinkles, and be done. And I had literally just printed a graphic off of a JPEG or your phone, printed it, no laminating, no cutting, just trimming, rolled it up, shipped it to you. And you can't believe how profitable it is to sell somebody a graphic that can come back off the wall after a year or two and not pull the paint off. This is what's changing wall murals, interior design, interior graphics. We have the same material on the mailboxes out here for over a year, and they look brand new. It's the material. Yes, it's the ink. We love the TR2 ink. We love Roland's ability. This ink goes down, it's like a sheen, it's like a gel. If you haven't seen this material up close, you got to see it. And if you want samples, call us. Call us at 1-800-275-7547. It's, 1-800-ASK-SKIP, but I don't tell anybody that anymore because the idea here is that the ink lays down really well, but it's the material that you print on that makes the magic. And when you have so many different materials to print on, then you're thinking, what about walls? What about windows? So now all of a sudden you're working on windows and you're doing like window film, like a etched glass that is the soft, beautiful printed pattern on a frosted vinyl etched glass that floats onto the window. Or we're doing the view through where you can look through the window and you can see out. It's these different materials that are really amazing. There's different backlit films for illuminated signs, whether it's a mounted sign panel like an outdoor sign, or it's an insert that goes into a light box like at a sports arena or something. These inks illuminate beautifully. And not only, illuminate that, if you print the same ink on reflective vinyl, now that's letting the color pop and come right through too. The richness of the blues and the reds. People do fire trucks, police trucks, ambulances, vehicles are unbelievable. And a lot of times it's municipalities or an industrial application for reflective. But let me tell you, reflective can be wildly creative on an artistic sense, that you can do a graphic on a truck or a trailer and at night, poof, it lights up in a certain way. And I've seen people do just like eyeballs or just like a hand or just like this strip of a logo or a flag or a stripe on a boat. Reflective is an industrial material, and it used to be really expensive, but now that we can print it, very affordable, very marketable, and get your customers excited. Show them what can be done. The idea, I'm a huge fan of sales kits. Here's a little 100 Ways portfolio. Some of you have one from the past. How do you go out and show your people that you can do labels and decals? Look at the color, look at the quality, or you can get into matte or gloss or clear and show them what's going on, or even the banner material. How do you show somebody the quality of the banner, a 13-ounce scrim on single-sided, or what is it like to do double-sided? It's like, really? Do you know that a printer cutter like this can do a double-sided banner in registration because it's got the, let me pull up the thing, because it's got a base point feature. We can set a starting point, an ending point, anywhere we want. So if this is a double-sided banner, we would make a base point right here and another one down here, and we're able to print on one side of the material, flip it over, and print onto the back. And then if you're really good and you make a pull pocket, you learn how to take the graphic on the front and wrap the graphic around to the back. So when you actually fold over your pull pocket, you have registration color on both sides. So single-sided banner, maybe there's a different way to use hem tape. We used to fold it over and bend it the old way with double-sided tape. No, there's new technologies for being able to hem a banner. These are the workflow things. How do you make 200 banners or 20 banners or something quick and easy in registration with full color, and that they dry and they ship and they last for a long time? Just incredible capabilities. Sometimes people may want to do like a fabric banner. Do you know that the solvent machines here can print onto different types of textiles, whether it's a light flag material or something a little bit more heavy like an Oxford? It's more of a fabric look. There's even mesh that lets the air through for sporting events and things like that. Think outside the box. The materials are what's key. You know, I was already talking about the wall lettering and the wall covering, and again, you know, we could go into the real wall covering that started out white, and I'm printing it brown here with a GG pattern. Or here's the contour cut hockey player, Fathead, my son here in particular, you know, printed cut with a wall graphic stuck to the wall. Remember, printing and cutting onto the wall, fabulous stuff. And of course, there's lettering and things. Sometimes you get into situations where you have a decal on the back side of the glass. This is interesting. This is subsurface. Those decals are actually on this side. Sometimes in life, the graphic has to be done in reverse. So do you know that the Roland can take clear vinyl, you print backwards on clear, you leave the crop marks, and you laminate white vinyl over it, put it back in the machine and cut. And what you get is a reverse print decal. This is white laminated on the clear, then cut, and as you turn it on and stick it to the graphic, it becomes a reverse print decal where the adhesive is on the same side. Double-sided. Now, if you print on the white and laminate it in registration, you can do a double-sided decal, each side different. Again, these are advanced maneuvers with a Roland printer cutter that when you get advanced and you learn your equipment and you know how to use these things, you can get into. And it's exciting because it creates a lot of opportunity for window graphics. Now, keep in mind, there are other technologies that Grant Graphics gets into. We love the eco-solvent printing and cutting from Roland, but there's also UV inkjet printing that exists where you're laying down ink in a very similar way, but you're curing it with a lamp. I'm just going to grab a couple boards here. Michael is the manufacturer of the mini board sales kit on the UV side where we printed directly onto the leather. And I'm not going to go off into this tangent very far, but this technology is we're printing directly onto the board, and then a lamp will cure it and harden. And UV printing is a different way of manufacturing certain things, and it plays very well in different applications. So if you want to know more about different technologies, feel free to call us at Grant Graphics too. We're experts at UV inkjet printing as well as textiles. So there's dye sublimation and other textile printing machines and ink sets. Gosh, we used to sell one ink set. Now we sell about 26 different types of ink. And these different types of ink print on different things. Textiles and apparel is one whole thing. Signs and graphics is like another quadrant. We get into industrial printing and cutting, which is another direction of this industry, which is very industrial. My son Garrison and I were just at a hockey show up in Minneapolis, and it was just the hockey industry. And people were doing goalie masks. They were wrapping hockey sticks. They were decorating products. They were printing on hockey pucks. They were making dye sublimation jerseys. Digital printing and cutting with those three technologies, solvent, UV, and textile, apply all over the place. And then there's the cutting part. So we also at Grant Graphics are specialists in the cutting, and here we're using a plotter, a built-in knife blade, a little 45-degree blade, sometimes a 60, that zips around and cuts out only through the vinyl, but not through the backing. Sometimes you can change the settings there and have it cut through the vinyl and the backing, creating a die-cut decal all by itself. And it's unbelievable this is able to be done. In fact, years ago, I'm starting to make a mess here, but I can do it. These books that we made of the Roland Color sample book were cut on the plotter. It was actually perf cut, where actually it cuts all the way through the material and it cut all the color swatch pages perfectly. And the same thing applies for labels this way. But when you blow it out a little bit more, hang on, I'm going to grab something, a pretty proud job here that this was done on the Roland. Thousands, 10,000? Yeah, insane amount of labels that we do in sets, helping the customer engineer a workflow, trying to prove that the manufacturing can be major on an inkjet printer and cutter. There's 9 labels here that are kiss cut, and then the sheet itself is die cut. These go into a tray, and this was to help consult one of our customers how to implement digital printing and cutting technology. So again, it's an industrial type application. people get into all different types of crazy industrial applications, and like I said, I could go on with this. But do we want to go over to the saw for a second so you guys can see how, huh? Come on over. All right, folks, so we're going to drop into VersaWorks, and as Michael's poking around, we could basically see what's represented on the right side of the screen here is the roll of vinyl. That simulates basically what we just print and cut. And the little vibration or dancing ants you see on the screen, so to speak, is the cut line. So, Michael, are you able to flip between the print and the print cut? Print cut, yeah. So basically, that is a little EPS file, and VersaWorks allows us to show, hey, what's going to print, and then can you show me what's going to cut? It's a way that we can check our work, and that is the contour cut that was set up in Illustrator as a cut contour swatch. Roland VersaWorks is extremely friendly in the way the interface is. That's why we love this for schools and universities and maker spaces or real estate companies, or we sell this equipment to anybody, anywhere that is needing digital printing and cutting capability. And a lot of times it can be a high school, it can be a university more advanced, it can be somebody that just manufactures anything, you know. And so basically Michael's over here in VersaWorks, he's doing a repeat here. And Michael, where do you want to take us here? Those profiles there, you have generic vinyl selected. We'll start at the top. Yeah, let's go back to the layout. We'll go with the first tab. Just basically how this works, folks, I'll do it really quick. You basically say, hey, I want to open up a file format, a JPEG, an EPS, a PDF file. PDF workflow is quite common these days and very controllable. And you basically say, click on Get Media Width. Hey, how wide is my material? Well, 54 inches, but we got some rollers here coming in from the edge just a little bit, so we'll lose an inch or so. And it's telling us here 52.17. We can rotate it 90 degrees or upside down or what have you. And basically we say, hey, how many labels do you want? And Mike can do the repeats X and Y. He can gap them whatever we want. He can mirror them if they're reverse print, like on clear, like I was talking about before. This is your layout function that basically allows you to set up the job. Real super easy. And again, remember, you can set up 4, 5, 10, 20 jobs, one after another, hit go, and go do something else in your day. The machines are designed to be operated in an automatic setting where it controls the temperature and the material and the tension and so on. So if we move from this, Michael, over to the next tab, which is the quality settings, one of Roland's amazing things is if you can click on the pull-down menu, if there's a few of them loaded, that's a newer configuration, so they're not all loaded. Those are called output profiles. These output profiles match up with the media type, so we could print on vinyl or banner or heat transfer or art canvas or whatever it may be, and it changes the formula in which it lays the ink down. It knows after extensive tests that certain banner material wants more ink, or certain art paper. If you're printing onto art paper, which you can't see because of the camera, but you want to be careful about not laying down too much ink. And these are output profiles match up and guarantee you a successful print job based on your material. This is invaluable, that you don't have to make these yourself and figure this out. Roland is a turnkey package. Remember, it's their equipment, their ink, it's their software, and their database library of all these different materials and profiles and color settings that work so fantastically for you in this situation. And we love Roland for it's a turnkey situation. VersaWorks loads on as many computers, PCs as you need. There's no serialized dongle. Roland feels that once you bought the printer, that's good enough, and you can copy the software on and drive the machine from multiple workstations. So if you have multiple designers, they can all ping the printer and send the job on over as simple, as easy as what we're doing here. So Michael's under the quality control. You know, we don't mess with the color a whole lot, but there's a really cool feature. Mike, if you can find it out, it's the color, the Roland color guide, where we're taking the Roland color system, and if there's a vector shape in there, and I go to my color swatch book that I showed you before, and I said, you know, pick up the color ST30 30i or something like that, they correspond. And Michael may be able to show you the button that you click to turn it on in order to match that color, if there happens to be one right there. That is an PR 271 or 27i or something like that. And if that color is in the file, it will substitute. And if you print the job the same way you printed your color charts, then you'll match your color exactly. Same vinyl, same heat settings. You know, if you print the job the same way you did your color charts, this is how you match your color in a very simple, straightforward way. It's things like this that we love Roland and we love VersaWorks. We love the way it's easy to use, easy to match the color. And I told you there's other features like variable data and stuff where each label can be different. You simply match a whole spreadsheet of your signs. You come up with one diagram here, and you merge it with an Excel spreadsheet, and it knows name and number and title, and that could be for sportswear. People do it for jerseys. They'll have the name on the back, the number, the American flag, you know, stuff all over a jersey, and variable data will repeat this in a matrix that matches your 54-inch web beautifully and nest it together, saving time and money. And man, I'm not used to a virtual demo like this. There's a whole lot to say. Yeah. So where are we on the software? Are we still in the software here? Yeah. So we're in VersaWorks, and so here we just did 8 batches of what, when, who, why, and how, and what have you. And again, I want to ask, what is it that you guys do out there? What do you make? Signs, banners, labels, decals, trucks. Is it windows, walls, interior design, fine art? It goes endless into the interior decor. Some people print on lamps. Some people print on tables. They make furniture. Some people print on, you can't believe the different realms of manufacturing that we deal with here. And VersaWorks being so easy to use is one of them here. So you're getting into the printing and the cutting. I didn't know if you wanted to jump over to Illustrator per se, or where you guys want to go with this next, but it's this software interface is a key component to making it quick and easy for people. That we train people on how to use it, and it's just a very easy workflow. And you're trying to do this quickly and easily and save money. You're trying to save time. You're trying to, of course, make a good profit or save the company a lot of money in your manufacturing. But most of all, for me, doing this for as long as I have, reducing stress. You just can't believe, to reduce the amount of stress, I don't want to worry if the color's right. I don't want to worry if there's pieces of hair or dirt. I don't want to worry that the vinyl's going to come off the wall. I don't want to worry that the customer's not going to like the color or it wasn't vibrant enough. I don't want to worry that I used the wrong material for the job. I don't want to worry that I charged too little. And that's a whole business side of this that, again, I encourage you to talk to us about the business model of printing and cutting. Everything that you see here in the realm of the sample boards, here's this fine art photo. Look, no laminating, no cutting. This is just printing a photograph on matte art paper or glossy photo paper, or maybe I'm printing it on canvas, which would be the gloss or the luster or the satin. Beautiful art canvas printing. There's no cutting, there's no laminating, there's no mounting. Do you realize how simple it is to print a beautiful art canvas print, roll it up and ship it to the customer, and how wildly profitable it is? As I was talking about the wall covering and things before, it's stunning and it's valuable, and the customers love it. They, when we tell our customers, look, when you start making this stuff for your family, friends, neighbors, businesses, customers, whatever you want to call it, they love it. They're not going to say, oh, gee, Skip, it's not colorful enough. Okay, it's not durable enough. It's not, the quality. Are you kidding me? This is photographic quality. You don't even see a dot pattern anymore. Again, you have to have done this for 20 or 30 or 40 years to appreciate the fact that there's no dot pattern. There's no grain. When you go into the gray or the black, we are so tight on our dot placement, and these machines calibrate so well. And I urge you, please, if you get good equipment like this, use good ink that goes with it. Roland ink for Roland machines. I know we can buy things cheaper machines, cheaper inks. You will pay for it down the road with stress or inconsistency or printhead problems. Believe me, we're the company that fixes these things and saves people from piecing together a system. And I'm going to go back to my point. To me, stress is the most valuable thing. When we print a job or manufacture something, I don't want my customers, and I don't want me or us to worry about how it's being made and how it will last and how it's going to hold up or how is the ink going to adhere. And when we get into advanced technologies like UV printing on hockey pucks or different things, we do testing. There's different ways to prime or prepare the surface you want the ink to hold. You know, there's lots of tricks of saving time and reducing stress, and one of them is kind of fun, is if you had to make a bunch of signs, take a 4x8 sheet and make them all together. This is called sign matrix printing, where you're printing them ganged up and you're mounting them once, and then when you cut them apart, your sign is done. You know, and when you mount your sign is done, sometimes you're using different materials. There's all different types of materials that you can mount the vinyl to, and there's you know, different expanded PVC foams. There's Coroplast, the corrugated plastic. There's foam boards. There's all types of acrylics, clear and white. And then you get into these composite materials, aluminum composite, which is a combination of you know, a kind of a hardcore plastic core with aluminum on the edge. And we have a question here. We got, can flat products be printed directly on, like yard signs, or will it need to be printed to vinyl and then applied? Well, here is a yard sign, Coroplast, and the quickest way is to print on vinyl and mount it if you have a machine like this. It's the UV printers, the flatbed UV printers that print directly onto the Coroplast without there being vinyl. So it's a different ink technology. It lays the ink down and it cures it. You know, this machine here is under, oh, here's an example of that right here. This is a UV print directly onto a 1/4-inch Sintra panel. There's no vinyl here. The board was just laid down on a UV flatbed and printed directly to the board. And that is kind of UV printing, and it's a nice way to go. These machines, though, 4x8 start, you know, $55,000, $60,000 and up. They have smaller format machines that can be $20,000 or $30,000 that people do a lot of this, but you know, quite a bit more expensive than using vinyl, which is, you know, 30 cents a square foot, just quickly mounted down. There are machines, you know, for mounting. Why you say that question, you know, a laminator, I said earlier that this is used for laminating. This is also used for mounting. You take a board like this and you take a flip-flop of vinyl, and you're actually taking the vinyl and you're hinging it to the board, and you flip the graphic up and you roll the board through the laminator and you mount the vinyl to the board. This is actually vinyl mounted to aluminum die bond. This is the aluminum composite material that you can't see too well on the camera, but it is unbelievable that you mount this to this aluminum board, and then a wall cutter shears the edge with 2 twin wheels, shearing the edge, cutting through the vinyl and the board beautifully. No burrs, no finishing, no sanding, no touching. It bevels the edge perfectly. The vinyl's not coming off. So mounting vinyl onto boards has been something we've been doing, you know, for years and years, and the basic laminator is the way to do that without bubbles. Oh gosh, years ago we'd take a squeegee and do it, and you'd get bubbles and wrinkles and it would stretch. No longer. You need a tool to mount. If you get a little bit more fancy, there's what's called an application table. And these can be 4 foot by 8 foot or bigger or smaller. And basically you're mounting your board to the table and you're putting your vinyl right where you want it, and it pins it down. You flip it up, pull the liner out, boom, boom, and you mount the board. We did this a minute ago. You know, and all of these little signs that you see virtually are actually printed vinyl, laminated, and mounted onto a board and then cut. So print, lam, mount, and then cut. Now, we love doing this because we love to cut out what it is that we print. We think it's inspirational. And we're printing and cutting experts. We print and cut, and we love this. You know, yeah, sure. Why sell a rectangular sign when you can sell a crest that's cut out in registration? So these, you know, whether it's solvent or, UV or textile, you're able to print crop marks, and cutters these days are able to figure out how to cut it. Now, if it's just a vinyl cutter or a printer cutter, it'll read the crop marks and cut. If it's a standalone cutter, because you can get a Roland GR plotter to go next to this, where you print it on here and cut it on another plotter. And we sell other brands of cutters too, Graphtec and Mamaki. And Valiani is a flatbed cutting table that cuts out rigid materials that we love, a really great manufacturer from Italy. See if I can get it. But Michael did this a minute ago. So we took a board, 3mm piece of board. Well, there's the Valiani thing. And we printed it on vinyl. Michael laminated it with a 5mm textured lam and put it on the Valiani cutter, which found the crop marks, then went ahead and just cut out the piece. So what's wild about this is that, I mean, this is how you make signs. There you go. Thank you, Garrison. So the idea on a cutter like this, I mean, this is a, you know, basically it's a little flatbed cutter. It may be hard to see there on the screen, but basically it's a little flatbed cutter that you're just taking your board and you're throwing it up onto the bed. It reads the crop marks and then it cuts it out. There you go. And it just cuts out right through the material and right through the vinyl, right through the laminate. And you guys, no sanding, no polishing, no painting, no, very little dirt or grain. It's cut on an oscillating blade or a tangential blade. They even have a model that's got a router motor in it. This is another advance up on cutting what you print. And it's awesome. And I could sit here and say, okay, great, let me grab that. If you can see that on film. Print and cut, thank you, Michael. Michael did this literally 2 minutes before we went live. And this is the what, the where, the who, you know, which I should probably poke out and talk about. But you guys, we love cutting out what we print. And again, if you were selling this to your customer, even for signs or graphic images, you know, it's unbelievable. And then the fact, look at the yield. I mean, this is what, $2 in material or something, and look what we turned it into. Oh, yes, as Michael says, sometimes we lay this down and we use this as a jig where we lay it down and put pieces in it and then print. And when people are doing a lot of production, that's one of the ways to do it. So how are we doing on, how are we doing out there? Hanging in? Any of you know me, you know I could talk for a week on all of this stuff. So I'll wrap it up at one point. So we're back to Illustrator here on the software side. There's the whole color chart. Thanks, you guys. We have Garrison Grant, by the way, on technology here at Grant Graphics. Big hand for Garrison. All right, and Sophie Hardina here working the camera for Instagram and such. So we got a live feed going on our social media channels, and thanks to my crew here along with Michael running the equipment and me talking on things that I like to talk about. Are hoping that you're enjoying this presentation of a live feed on a Roland printer card. We could probably make the printer go if you want to see it print and cut some more. But the idea behind here was really to show you the applications. You know, there's so many cool things that can be done with printing and cutting. It's endless. It is just exploding. And the world's changed. People have better artwork. They do it in-house. They want it quicker. They understand what's going on here. And so you were just an illustrator there with the color charts. And I don't know if there's more to show here. Nice job, you guys, on this bout.
Library, we have the Roland VersaWorks.
Roland.
New orange.
A whole orange library to really punch certain colors. Again, any vector shape that you select and fill with one of these swatches takes on those attributes. One of the swatches that you need to pay attention to here would be this magenta colored Roland VersaWorks swatch. That's the cut contour swatch. That's how we tell something to cut and not print. We take a vector shape and we tell it, give it that swatch, and that's how we tell it to cut that vector shape and not print it. And that little magic saved in an EPS file of the same file with print information and cut information is magical. In a Roland workflow with a Roland plotter, you can actually drag it from one queue into another and fire off and cut on a separate unit using multiple devices. VersaWorks will drive up to 5 different printers at the same time, along with the cutters too. So people string these things together, print on one, cut on another, and I tell you, you're trying to do this quick and easy. And again, call us here at Grant Graphics to learn more about optimizing your workflow with your equipment. You know, and as I talk about that, yes, we sell equipment, and that is our specialty as far as teaching people how to do it, how to, purchase a machine, finance it, even a machine like this. We have demo units available here. That, like I said, we're having a spring sale right at the moment. We've got several demo machines that are inked up and dialed in really well at a reduced price, available to go at any time. And we have some, a bunch of brand new ones in crates ready to ship or deliver to you. So when people buy a machine like this, we come to you, we set up the machine, we calibrate it, we get it all lined up to the capability and technical capability of Michael. But we've got great reps here in Jeff and Will and Greg and a bunch of us supporting the people out there in the world that do this. And we set you up, train you, install the software, configure the network, link the plugins for Illustrator. We help pull it all together and then teach you how to operate the machine, maintain it. And then we're also the service provider that keeps it under warranty. They're 2-year warranty with Roland printers these days. All parts, labor, and travel covered on something like that. The demo units are 6 months or so on that. But, even a brand new one here is about $19,000, I think, with shipping and so forth. People finance them for $375 a month. And think about it, for less than $400 a month, you're having a business package here that can make all kinds of money by producing all kinds of stuff. And I think $400 a month, that's like 2 jobs. I mean, $200 for a job for a label run is pretty basic. These machines should be operating at about $150 to $200 an hour, based on the fact that they can produce 100, 120, or 300 square feet an hour. You can produce quite a bit of graphics in a short amount of time, and it's just a real moneymaker, and it's a complete package. So people do it out of their basement, out of their bedroom, out of their house, or they'll work it out of a major, a bigger facility. But that's our role with Grant Graphics, is to I'll come back to the installation, the training, the package, and all of that comes complete, and then the support afterwards as well. We want this relationship to last for a long time. Through the years, people add more equipment or different equipment or trade in equipment. We take a lot of trade-ins. So demo units, we have a question here on the demo units here. We've taken a machine, it's brand new, we ink it up with a color set, we'll do some testing. We just went through some testing on some apparels and textiles, and then the machines will be dialed in, and then people will be able to save, usually $1,000 or $1,500 or something like that on a demo unit, and it's already got the ink in it, and it's already kind of proven up and running and dialed in. So we honor a demo unit pretty much the same way we do as a new unit, with the exception of the warranty from Roland. But again, we can cover that too. If people want extended warranties on equipment, or they need extra training, whatever, a lot of things are possible there. So thank you, Michael, for sending a print job over that. I also I'm going to come on over and grab this here too, come out of frame and come back in. The ink, as we talk about. So we sell the printer, and then the ink and media is a very important part of this equation. We provide the ink for the machines. It goes with the warranty. It goes with the excellent operation. Your ink business is very important to us. It's how we pay for our staff. It's kind of the razor blade side of the business. And so as we support people with their equipment, we also really ask for their ink and media business to go along with it. We feel that we carry this all in stock. Like I said earlier, 26 types of ink that have expiration dates and profiles and some technical attributes that we know so well that are valuable, that I say just don't use any cheap ink. You do not. Use good ink for all the apparent reasons of why that's important. We also sell all the media. You saw earlier that we pulled out a media selector. If you don't have one of these media selectors, let us know, because we're the ones crazy enough to manufacture this. printing and cutting on the flatbed cutter. We cut all these pages, made hundreds and hundreds of these books of all the different manufacturers all in one book. I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like it, where we've taken all of our really great manufacturers, I don't know if you can read all of them, and put them in a really key selector. This is so you can go to your customer, that you can go out and say, hey, this is the vinyl. Do you like the white point? Do you like the gloss? Would you rather have matte? This is the wall material. You know, this is the art canvas, this is the banner. You know, the materials we sell too in 54-inch rolls or 30-inch rolls. We ship them UPS, free shipping for orders over $140 or something like that. We UPS them around the country. So we have a terrific website, grantgraphics.com. Please go to our website, start an account, and buy your ink and material from us, and we will trade with you great knowledge and enthusiasm and energy about running your business. We think that's a fair trade. It certainly has worked through 25 years. We just had our 25th anniversary here at Grant Graphics. That this company like this was started in 1996. And technology was very different 25 years ago. So that's the only good thing about getting older, is that you get excited about how things get better, you know, whether it's printing and cutting, you know, and new equipment comes into play like the Valiani cutter to be able to cut out shapes and things that we print. So we've got a big why print and cut, and you know, I'm going to come back to this question why as we kind of start to wrap up here a little bit. Ask yourself, why are you in this business? Why are you doing this? Why are you watching this video? Why are you learning more? Are you trying to expand your business? Are you trying to do what you do better? Are you trying to offer new products? Are you trying to improve your performance in your workflow of the dynamic sales cycle of getting the work and doing the work? You're trying to improve your profitability with pricing and understanding the different materials, the vinyl, the laminate, the boards, the workflow, and what to do. And if so, then you may be asking yourself, what's another one of these things, where's the how? How are you doing it? You know, the how is, well, I'm doing it on a printer cutter. I'm mounting by hand. I'm trimming it with a ruler. How are you doing the work? How are you doing this business? And you get into a situation, so, okay, well, where are you doing this? Yeah, that's the where. Like, well, I'm doing it in my basement. I'm doing it in my house. I'm doing it in my garage, or I'm doing it in a warehouse, or I'm doing it in a facility, or I'm doing it, you know, at a university. Where? What's the workflow? I mean, it used to be years ago, you guys, we needed an entire building for screen printing, for cameras and films and dark rooms, and screen printing graphics and dryers and drying racks and so on. Now, now it's, you know, people have a whole, again, an idea to a final product almost in one little size of a bed. I mean, people have these things in the bedroom, and you sit there and say, okay, where do you do it? You know, then the other one here that I like is when. You know, when do you do this? Oh my God, Skip, I do this at night after my normal job. A lot of people have a side hustle or a gig going on, and they're like, I do this at night. I have lots of friends that bought a machine, they do this at night or on weekends. And they say, you know, it started out that way, Skip, and then I'm doing it kind of like all night, every night, and I'm doing it all weekends. And then sometimes they give up their real job, and then they're doing it all day, and they're doing it all day and all night. It's like, okay, well then when you may need a second printer, because I don't think you should be working all the time. It's this life-work balance thing that we seek, that you're trying to do this stress-free, quick and easily to produce money, or to build a business that can grow and scale up. You know, the other question here on that little sign is who. You know, who are you doing it for? Who is your customer? Who is your profile? Is it wholesale? Is it retail? Is it a non-profit? Is it a hospital or a library, a museum? You got to identify. Some people say, I'll do graphics for anybody. I was there once. I would say yes to anything. And before you know it, I'm doing graphics on the ceilings at restaurants 1 minute and wrapping a truck the next, and I'm bouncing all over the place thinking, wow, there must be a better way, that maybe I shouldn't say yes to everything, and I should dial in the profile of the type of work somebody would want to do. And now through the years, this is what I teach, you know, the people about thinking about your profile customer. And, you know, I look at this one sample here. This is a print lamb cut from a Roland from a long time ago. This is ATM decals. You can't really see it, MasterCard, Visa. Who would have thought that a company would specialize in doing graphics for ATM machines only? waterproof, durable, bomb-proof, durable, you know, and they were all different. It's like, you know what? The markets are endless. And that's, again, what gets me enthused about this whole print and cut world. And here we're talking about Roland. Roland is a great manufacturer from Japan. We've been a dealer for Roland since 2000, 1999, 2000. So 22, 23 years we've been specialists, and we're one of the most active Roland dealers in the country. We just really enjoy this printing and cutting, and they've got other equipment too. They've got UV printing equipment, they've got cutting equipment, they've got garment printing for cotton t-shirts and other realms of Roland manufacturing that comes into play to pay attention to. So, so did we cut? Did this cut already?
We ran out of media.
Oh, how about
Grant Graphics?
All right, yes. So look at that. The printer stopped because we ran out of vinyl. Well, that must be the show then, you guys. But cheers again to my staff, Greg and Michael, Lisa, you know, people that help you folks on the phone. Lisa Walsh is great, Sophie, Kelly, Dee, tremendous up in the customer service side. And then, you know, as far as the technical staff of Greg and Michael and Will and Jeff, Garrison and myself, and Bruce, of course, being operations manager, and several other Grant Graphics teammates that come and go and help us out. And cheers to our manufacturers too, you know, not only just with the hardware side of the equipment, but also the software. Remember, Oracle, Arlon, Chemica from France. These people are valuable to help educate us. DryTac on some of the specialty materials are invaluable to help us understand these materials and the markets. And I think it's the teamwork of all of us that really makes the difference. And as far as you customers go, that I've known some of you for many, many, many years, we love you guys too. You teach us, and it's a fair trade. We teach, we support, we share our enthusiasm, and we really appreciate the business that you give us with the ink and the material. So we got a question here. When is the next open house? Yes, we are going to have one in the middle of May. We're thinking of possibly a 3-day conference, a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on May. I think it's 16th, 17th, somewhere right in the middle of May. We're going to have a whopping event here in Saratoga. We invite you all to come and see. Last time we did this in October, we had 19 workstations going of all the technologies. Just a fantastic day, and well worth your time to come visit us and meet face to face and really learn about all this. It's no charge. We do it as a part of the club, the Print and Cut Club, and taking care of our customers. And we thank you again for the business. And we're all supporting each other in a crazy time, in a crazy world coming off of the pandemic and other serious issues around the world. We do not want to lose sight that there's a bigger picture of living life, love, family, being successful, and balancing this all out together so we have a nice experience with our careers. And hopefully you all do what you love, and you chase the markets that you enjoy, and that you surround yourself with people that think it's very cool and colorful and love what you do, because you should love what you do. And we should all work on that every single day. So anything else? Michael, any final words?
You said it all.
I've said a lot. So cheers, going live on a social media platform. Thank you, Garrison and Sophie, for your technical side on the other side of the camera. Michael, thank you for sharing in on this. You guys give us a call, go to our website, Grant Graphics, and we'll take care of you. And my email, skip@grantgraphics.com if you want to email me directly. Our phone number, 800-275-7547. So thanks, you guys. And I think that's about it. Coming to you live from Saratoga Springs, New York. Beautiful sunny day. Welcome to spring. Let's do this.